Here we are down at PFI speed, getting this here Falcon with the 300 inline 6 and the turbo strapped down to the rollers. Get it on the dyno and see what we can do about getting some of this methanol tune-up figured out. You can usually learn more in one trip to the dyno than you can with a couple trips to the tracks. Here the fuel pressure started to drop and the engine was showing signs of going lean, so we stopped this run early, but it was still showing signs of an increase in power.
Yeah, I was watching that bubble and I was going, what the heck?
Me and Brent both at the same time. You see what I'm seeing?
It's so weird. How would air pressure get it?
It's got to
be coming.
The regulator.
Through the regulator.
Vacuum line
Diaphragm.
regulator, or like you said, a weak injector could do it.
Yeah, but it doesn't do it till you get it powered up quite a ways. Like at 10 psi, it don't do it.
No, I have to get it about 20. Guess what booster we're just making?
Yeah, we're making 20 pounds of boost.
22. It was fine until then.
And it's not that you're not getting fuel, it's that you're adding air to the liquid side.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We're aerating the fuel system. Literally.
What? How?
Oh, where?
So it's nitro.
The regulator.
That's the regulator diaphragm.
When we were at PFI speed on the dyno, the last pull, we were losing fuel pressure. So this mechanical belt-driven pump, we have this big aeromotive regulator here, this tall one, and we use that belt-driven pump to feed the alcohol, methanol, for the injection system. And we have it set at 70 pounds for feeding the fuel rail. And then as the engine makes boost through this boost reference line, this blue air line here, it feeds that boost signal to the top of the diaphragm, which adds pressure to it, so it increases the fuel pressure. As the engine makes more boost, it makes more fuel pressure. It seemed to be working fine up until we crossed from 18 pounds to 20. At the 20 pounds of boost level, we did not get a clean run. As he was making the pull, the engine started to lean out, the fuel pressure started to drop, so we shut it down and then started trying to figure out if the pump was going bad or what it was. At that time, we pulled the charge pipe off that goes from the turbo up to the throttle body, and then in that one video, or I'll put a picture of it here, they've got a boot that goes on there, and they can pump air into the system. So they basically pressurize the whole charge air side. They can test for leaks at the throttle body or any of the other miscellaneous airlines. But the charge intake system pressurized. We had the fuel filter off, which is down here. And just before Brent was to put that fuel filter back on, Jamie put some air to that throttle body, and we noticed that the fuel line was blowing bubbles out of this fitting. When it was turned up holding fuel, it was blowing bubbles in there. So we were getting air cross-fed into the fuel system. And one of the ways that can happen is this boost signal on top of this diaphragm underneath the spring of this regulator. I'm about to open it up and see if that diaphragm got pinched during install or what's going on, if we blew a hole in it. It's rated to go 125 psi, so I doubt that we're not out of limit on it, but maybe the diaphragm is just not installed correctly, or maybe it's bad and we need to replace it. But anyway, we also just dead looped that line so that the line to the regulator didn't get a signal and the bubbles in the fuel line stopped. So with it hooked up, it does bubble. Without it hooked up, it doesn't. So we're pretty confident that that regulator is the problem. So I'm going to pull it apart now and see what we got in there. Okay, I started out trying to video taking this off, but my phone died. So you missed me taking it off there, but it's just two fuel lines. The boost line and then also the electrical for that. But now we're going to take this diaphragm part here and see what it looks like. Also, I think we have the small spring in here and I want to put the big spring in, so we'll also be doing that. Actually, I'm going to back that spring off before I take this loose to make that a little... Jam that loose, and now we're gonna and of course it's the one that's missing out of this set. Grab the other set real quick. That has a lot of pressure on that spring. I would not want to try and do that with those little screws. Okay, now the reg's backed off all the way. Now we can take these little screws out. Huh. Expecting there to be a tear of some sort in there. I really don't see anywhere that I would consider this to be bad. Well, that's not good. There's a little bit of crud in there, but huh. Well, we'll have to look further into this and do some more testing, see if we can get it to repeat on putting air into this is where the boost is. It's be coming in through here above the diaphragm, but we were getting air bubbles in the fuel line when the boost reference was hooked up to the manifold. So I guess I'll have to put it back together and try to recreate that and see if I can get it to leak some more. Well, that's where we're at for now. Okay, so after looking at it again, it doesn't really look like there's a hole in it, which there's not a hole in it, but when you stretch it down, you get to this side, there is a crack. Can you see that crack? Yeah, there. So it's not necessarily a hole, but there's a crack in the diaphragm that's letting boost come through. From this side, it doesn't look bad. That's pretty crazy. From this side, it's hard to even notice the first time, but closer inspection, it's got a crack partially way around there. So, this regulator's rated for mechanical pumps, which typically is for methanol use, but I'll have to verify that this diaphragm is good, safe for methanol. Otherwise, that's going to be frustrating if that's something that happens fairly often. So anyway, we'll get some parts ordered and get this back together and see how it goes.